Good morning. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Pat Tarasovic from Valley United Way, and what you see behind me is Harvest House 6, and that in of itself is amazing. Corporate Volunteer Council has done 19 weeks of caring for 19 years, and every other year since 2005, we have built Harvest House. Right here, I think there was one year we were up at R.D. Cinto, but every single year we're right here. And I think that for Harvest House 6, we really did a couple of different things. We listened to the food banks, and we did see that we would have some houses that would have a lot of tuna fish or a lot of peanut butter, and we really listened to the food bank directors and really tried to create walls that had a total selection of all the different foods that you need. So each and every wall will go to a food bank, but it does have a different collection of all the foods. We do have a few members here today from our Corporate Volunteer Council. I'd like you to raise your hand so we can just recognize you. Because many of them were here on Saturday, which was the build, and many of them have already been, like I said, here doing this. So it's been an example of the community caring. All of you are here because you care. You're an example of the community caring. We have Edgewell for the first time here, part of Harvest House. We're thrilled. We love Edgewell because of their support United Way, and we totally are so glad that you're here as well. And I think that we have 5 clear food banks that we have here in the Valley, and we know that the representation and working with each and every one of them for the past 2 years has been exciting, and it's produced incredible outcomes, and I think this house here represents that. So I want to introduce Jack Walsh, because United Way has been on track for really identifying hunger, the need for hunger, as well as results after our identification of that. So Jack Walsh, who is our president and CEO at Valley United Way.
Thanks, Pat. Today's not a day for any long speech. I mean, the walls speak for themselves, but just want to give you some rationale for how we got here, okay? We funded food banks at United Way for a long time, but through the work of the Harvest House and the CBC monthly food collections, we decided we needed to really get a handle on what's the need in the Valley and how do we make the system work even better than it does. So let me backtrack a little bit. About a year ago, the United Ways in Connecticut came out with a study called the ALICE study, which maybe some of you have seen it and some of you have not. But the ALICE study wanted to find out what kinds of needs we have in the community. Everybody knows about the poverty level. Well, in all honesty, in Connecticut, you can't live at or below the poverty level. I don't know how anyone can do that. But in the ALICE study, we also found that people, and ALICE stands for Assets Limited, Income Constrained, Employed, basically the working poor. And we found that upwards to 30% of the people in Connecticut are having a tough time making it. One paycheck away from a disaster, and food and housing and whatnot are a major challenge for them. At the same time, at the local level, our United Way, based on this, we asked Prudential, instead of just giving us money to buy food, which is critical, would they help us fund a study of hunger in the Valley so we could get a better handle on it? And they funded it, and the United Way of Connecticut helped conduct a study for us. And I want to give you the good news first. The good news, what we found out, is the food banks here do a tremendous job, and that no one in the Valley ever needs to go hungry. There are people going hungry because they don't know how the system works. They don't know where to go, they don't know how to apply. Well, the study showed clearly how we could get around that. If you visit the United Way website, you'll see the study, you can get all the statistics, and you get maps showing you where the food banks are and what their hours are and what their qualifications are. And the amazing thing is now all those food banks are talking to each other, working together, making the system even better. And as I said before, there's never been a reason for people to go hungry because they have been doing a tremendous job. We know from the study that they fall short of food in February and again at this time of year. At holiday time, everybody thinks of food. They're not thinking about it now, but this is when they're short. So these walls are going to immediately go back into the community and make sure that we don't have a shortage before the holiday. So let me close by thanking all of you. There's a real need, and this is going to meet the need, and it's going to meet it immediately. So I think you should be very happy that that food you take off the walls today could be in some families' hands by the end of the week. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. I do want to refer to this banner here because it's extremely important to see from our Corporate Volunteer Council, our sponsors, and how they, obviously Jack talked about Prudential, but our Derby Shelton Rotary Club, Turner Construction, R.D. Cinto, Perkin-Elmer, Unilever, Friends and Family of Gene Klein, BIC, Newtown Savings Bank, Minuteman Press, Valley Community Foundation, thank you Sharon, Hampton Inn. And special thanks, and this is important, to R.D. Cinto, Bob and Katie Cinto, David M. Grant Caterers, Fred Artoli Photography, Benchmark, Senior Living, Dunkin' Donuts up here on Howe Avenue, Town Line Storage, this is very important to say, Laurel Vic Domino is president of Town Line Storage. This house, when it's taken down tomorrow from Emmett O'Brien students, they will then bring the house over to, the empty house, over to Town Line Storage in Derby, and they will hold the house for us for 2 years, and then Emmett will go back out and take the house. That is done as a gift to us at no charge. That's incredible. Also, Minuteman Press, Peralta Design, Independent Outdoor, Emmett O'Brien staff and students, and Liquid Lunch. We could not do this without all of our sponsors, and that's very, very important to know. And again, as Jack said, I thank you as Director of the Volunteer Center at United Way. You're all volunteers, and I thank you for all the volunteering that you're doing because it's an incredible gift to our Valley community. So I think I've talked to all of our directors. I did see Salvation Army come in, and Mimi, I talked to you from Ansonia, but I will talk with you after we begin this. But on Saturday, when we had well over 100 volunteers here, and we rang the bell to start the build, I'm going to quietly ring the bell because we're going to ring it to now take the house down, because that's going to be an incredible gift for you to do that. So if you haven't already checked in with your food pantry, your directors, I'm sure they have a system of how you want this to work. So on the count of 3, I will step out of the way and we will begin packing up your boxes and bringing the food to your pantries where you can feed your people in need. 1, 2, 3. Take the house down.